I want to start with this question. We are, believe it or not, 1 month to 100 days, which some consider an artificial deadline, but Washington always tries to keep score. How much is this constant focus, Russia investigations, pushback, new developments, anger at the White House that we're even covering this story, how much is it affecting this president's ability to get stuff done?
Quite a bit. I mean, look, the issue, and to your point, he's good at misdirection, and we hear about that a lot. There's been a big theory in Washington for a while now that every time the president tweets, it's some kind of a distraction from something else. That's like saying that you're burning your hand to distract from, your burning ear. This is not good every time he calls attention back to this, frankly. And when he characterizes it, Russia, just broadly Russia, as fake news or a scam, it sounds like he's talking about the entire story. Remember, the only thing that we do know is there was a hacking and that 17 different divisions of the intelligence community say that this was done with a high degree, relatively high in one case, degree of confidence by Russia, and that this was done to help elevate his campaign. So he sounds like he is dismissing all of that when he does this. Right. The White House has been unable to get out of its own way on this, and part of that, as you know, is that this president, when he feels like he is under attack, he attacks back. But now he's punching at ghosts and hitting himself in the face.
Punching at ghosts, and part of the problem, look, I try to come at this, okay, listen to them. Listen to what they say. Nothing nefarious happened. These were just meetings. But, however, we asked for months. How many meetings did your people have in the campaign with Russian officials? The president himself said none. Then we find out there were some. We find out Jared Kushner met with the ambassador. Told us that only after it was made public in your newspaper, I believe. We found out Jared Kushner later met with a big Russian banker close to Putin. Found out that he disclosed that only after he knew the Senate Intelligence Committee knew about it. Now we find out Michael Flynn, who had to resign, didn't put on his financial disclosure form speaking fees and other money he took from Russian interests. When he took the job, he knew this was a big story. Now, again, that doesn't mean anything nefarious happened, but it does make you wonder.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, in terms of not being able to get out of their own way, if it was just the tweets, maybe they could move past it. It's not. It's the more it's like quicksand. The more they thrash, the deeper they go into this. And the more that we find out information, like the most recent Michael Flynn not claiming money he made from RT and money from speeches on his disclosure forms, as you said, it raises more questions than it answers. And that is a trend throughout this investigation and throughout this issue with Russia. Something else comes up and it doesn't answer any questions.
And Trump is also creating a lot of problems for himself. Remember, this whole wiretapping thing was created just because he wanted to respond. He opened up a whole new avenue of problems for his administration, which this week we learned has stretched into 3 White House aides giving information essentially to the House Intelligence Committee chairman, putting his credibility into question, really opening a Pandora's box of problems just because the president wanted to, maybe it was a misdirection or maybe it was just to fire back at his critics. But when you create new problems for yourself, that's hurting yourself.
And he, to that point, he is now seizing one of his tweets yesterday, and if you look at Fox News, you look at Breitbart, you look around the conservative media, he is now seizing on a Fox News report that anonymously quotes a high-ranking official who says someone very senior in the Obama administration, a known person in the intelligence community, unmasked, spread these reports. Trump transition officials picked up on some surveillance that's perfectly legal. Unmasking them, meaning disclosing their names or at least making clear who they are, that would be very unusual. They say this happened. Well, no one else has been able to confirm that report, number one. There's a lot of good reporters working the story. But number two, I would make this point. If that's the case, if there was a serious, irresponsible, reckless effort in the Obama administration to spread this stuff around, the president has the power to declassify these documents. He could make this go away like that. Instead, we get this innuendo and back and forth. He could end this in a minute, and if he wanted to protect himself, he could bring in establishment people from prior administrations who have security clearance to say, look what we found. Please help us make the case that we're not nuts. Instead, this is all spread through this, so that's why I'm skeptical.